The parental rights movement that grew in response to protests by Virginia parents to certain decisions being made by local school boards in Fairfax and Loudoun counties may finally be coming to Montgomery County. Avowed conservative and registered Democrat, I might add, Bethany Mandel, has filed to run in the 4th District School Board race. Now, Laurie, who is Bethany Mandel, and why are so many people taking notice of her attempt to be elected to the school board?
Bethany is someone I noticed pretty much right away when I started advocating to keep our schools open, and she was front and center on Twitter, really fighting, hoping
the COVID issue, right?
During the COVID issue, yes. That's when I first noticed her. And since then, I've seen her a lot on Fox News, and she keeps developing more and more screen time on Fox News and does a fantastic job. She has the gift of telling the truth, even though it hurts. That's what I heard them say in an interview that she was on in December. And she's Jewish, and she really has, she's a writer. And she has written for a number of Jewish, what do you call it? She's written in a lot of Jewish conservative papers, and she's been a 5th grade teacher. So she has the experience of teaching, and she's a homeschool teacher of her own children. She has 6 children, believe it or not, and she still has the time to run for Board of Ed, which is, she's just, I'm very impressed with her. And I think that parents hopefully are starting to realize the importance of we need someone with a different voice, someone who will speak up and represent people who feel the way she does, because there are a number of us who do feel that starting school earlier would have been a better idea for our children's mental health.
Laurie, and Mike, the Baltimore Sun today is running an article about the parents' rights in education movement. So it's not isolated to Montgomery County. And I'm a little surprised that political blogger Adam Pagnucco has devoted 2 columns, to Bethany Mandel. So, Mike, the question, we've dealt with the school board the last 6 months, and probably years. MCPS school board has lacked transparency, and isn't there a need for this?
Well, I think that's one of the reasons you're seeing people like Adam write about Bethany or write about anything that's different, is because I think there is a real challenge with the Board of Education right now. And quite honestly, just the school system in Montgomery County. We don't have a clear vision. And I think that's probably the biggest challenge that we're seeing. And it starts at the top, quite honestly. And, what we haven't had is a clear vision from the Board of Education, I think, in hiring the last couple of superintendents and saying, here's where we need to go. But we also haven't had a vision from our county executive. There used to be a time when the county executive and the schools were closely linked, because we understood that our school system is one of the reasons that makes our county such a thriving community. And establishing a vision of whether or not it's making sure we have 3rd graders that can read, that we look at our graduation rates, we look at the achievement gap in a highly diverse school district, and look how we're addressing these issues. We don't have anybody talking about any of those things right now at a high level. So as a result, you got everybody kind of flailing about. And so I think this last situation with the superintendent being released, we have to figure out who's going to step in there and articulate what it is they think the superintendent ought to be doing. But at what point is our county executive and the council going to come on board and say, look, here's our vision for where education fits in Montgomery County, and we're going to work closely with the school system to achieve those outcomes and identify a level of accountability, because that's been completely absent for the last 6 years.
My old friend, Steve Abrams, who was not only a panelist on the show, but was also on the school board, was probably the last independent voice on the school board that hadn't been sponsored by the Apple ballot. I mean, he very, very remarkable guy. I'm looking forward. So, Laurie,
Well, I don't know. I would say Pat O'Neill was a pretty impressive board member.
Well, Pat, look,
and provide a level of leadership, and I think
I will agree with you. I will agree with you on that.
I think Bethany is pointing out that our school system is now prioritizing activism over excellence. And this is something she's going to help root out, because there are books that are not age appropriate, and there are things that people are afraid to say, and she's going to say it. She will say it, and she might even say a few bad words. So look out.
Well, I have to say that the notion of that we're worried about the activism of the school system when we have this other movement called parental rights, when we're actually talking about educating children, and they've named themselves after parental rights as though that's more important than what educating the children really is. So I'm always intrigued by that as we're trying to shine the spotlight. So I think it's really important for us to focus on how are we going to educate our kids and make our kids as successful as they can be, and not worry about all the stuff on the periphery, which a lot of
bringing up parental rights because they're being taken away from us. That's the issue. They're being taken away from us.
We got to go to break. But here's the key numbers, and I believe, this is correct, that only 45% of students graduating from MCPS schools are reading at grade level. That's terrible. And Mike, if I've got the wrong figures,
I don't know the graduation numbers. I know that at the third grade level, third grade is going into fourth grade, that those numbers are accurate. And I've signed on to a letter, op-ed we did recently, and we're also trying to get some focus on this at the county council to say, look, we've got to make an investment in our children at K through 2 to make sure that our kids are reading at the level they need to be at by third grade, because the rest of it falls apart if we can't get that done.
If you can't read and write, you're not going to be successful in life, and the school board has to focus on that, and not on pronouns.